Shanti. I'd like to welcome you to the Temple of Kriya Yoga meditation this beautiful Sunday afternoon. Before we start with the meditation, I have a short prayer, and I would ask if you just come to a meditative position or meditative posture, seated comfortably. It could be seated on the floor, seated in a chair, doesn't matter. Your back should be straight, your spine erect. Just close your eyes and for a few moments meditate on the prayer as I go through it. May the infinite order of life, of love, and of laughter bless you at this moment. May each cell of your being and each petal of your mind be touched, be healed, be harmonized. May vim and vigor and vitality be yours. May love and laughter be yours. May you truly find that which you seek. May you find that which you seek surely, swiftly, and most harmoniously. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Thank you, Shanti. Today, I'd like to meditate with you on this idea of love. And when we talk about love in yoga, we're talking about divine love. I guess you would say God's love, whichever you're most comfortable with. And we live in a strange world today where everybody's demanding certain rights for everything, and saying they have a right to do a lot of different things that they feel would really make their life more comfortable. And really, I think the truth is that there is one right that we all have that maybe is missing from part of all of this turmoil that's going on in the modern age, the age of Kali Yuga. And that is that of laughter and love, or of love, which we in yoga would say is truly your divine right. That is to say, love and laughter are your inherent right. And when we say that, or when we talk about that, or when I talk about that, what I'm really saying or suggesting is that this idea of divine love that exists, it exists, and it does exist within us. It exists within each of us. It exists within each cell of our being, or each petal of our mind. Whether we know it or not, it is radiating with love. And it's radiating with love within all sentient beings. Now, this love is not man's love, sexual love. And that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about a quality that is within us that allows us to produce within our life a feeling of happiness, a feeling of contentment, a feeling of peace, all of those words. It's there, it's within us. Our job, so to speak, is to somehow create a condition, and by condition I mean a psychological, mental condition that um, produces our ability to take that love that exists within us and allow it to flourish, allow it to express itself in our lives. And that feeling that is there, we want to radiate from us and radiate to all of those around us. For most of us, that's the immediate family. It could be the spouse, the children, the neighbors. If we extend it out a little bit further, we go to the people that we work with, and then expand it a little bit further. Maybe out into the world that we live in, the state, the country, the world itself. And to continue out even beyond the earth realm into the solar system and into the whole universe, the whole physical universe. And that's just to get things started. From there, we try and want to get it to radiate into not only this universes, but universes that we're not even aware of that exist. And get that expression of love to expand itself out. And so that's what our work is. That's what our job is. And the better we are at that job, the better we are at radiating this love from ourselves, from within us, the more successful that we are at it, the more we benefit personally. That right that I was talking about when I first started, the right to be happy. If you want to be happy, what you really want to do is make those around you, or give those around you the opportunity to be happy. Produce an environment through your words, through your actions, through your thoughts, and what you're thinking. Through that whole process, you want to be producing an environment that allows happiness, peace, love, tranquility to flourish. That's an opening thought, or my opening thought. And with that thought, what I'd like to do is stop and meditate for a minute, or give you an opportunity to maybe digest a little bit of what I've said. Think about it, meditate on it, and relax into that idea, that concept. And I'm going to do a little bit of music and mantra. This particular mantra is the 12-letter mantra. The verse for it is the words. Their Sanskrit words are Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. And if you count those, there's 12 letters in there, so we have the 12-letter mantra. Those are Sanskrit sounds that we're making, and the idea with all mantras is that what we're trying to do is take the verbal, mechanical vibration that we make with the sounds and have them affect us internally, which is to say that there's chakras within us. If you're familiar with the Kriya Yoga and ideas, concepts within Kriya Yoga, we have the chakra system. And as you chant the mantra, you affect the chakras, and you cause them to light up, to vibrate, to become energized in a certain way that it produces a state of consciousness. And in this particular state of consciousness, the idea is of, as you might expect, love, which is the heart chakra. The heart chakra has 12 petals on it. And so you have that connection that exists there between the mantra, the heart chakra, the anahata chakra, and producing that feeling state by chanting the mantra. And so, again, I would ask if you come to a comfortable meditative position, and you can either chant along if you like. If not, just sit and listen as I play the mantra for just a minute or two. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 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 Shanti. after we do the mantra, we sit and meditate for a few minutes. And during those few minutes, you kind of clear the mind of all your thoughts, and just allow the feeling of the mantra to kind of penetrate into your consciousness and your awareness. If you're at home and you're chanting the mantra, and if you actually chant the mantra, you'll notice that when you stop, your body actually doesn't stop, or at least for my, when I'm doing the mantra and I stop chanting it, I can almost feel my, or I can feel my kind of entire body's kind of going, it's just a nice feeling that's generated with the mantra, which is what the purpose is. I like to say love is a 4-letter word. And if I were to spell the 4-letter word, I would spell it a little bit different than you spell it. I would spell it something like Yodha Vadha. That spells love. That's Hebrew. It's a Hebrew equation, actually. Yodha Vadha. And it has 4 letters in it. And this idea of 4 letters and this 4-letter patterning is a pattern which is inherent within all life that exists in the physical realm, in this world. And you'll notice that in the spelling of this, and my strange spelling of it, Yodha, Vadha, there's 2 letters that are the same. And this is a symbolic patterning that's there. And what it means is the first H has to do with what I think Sri Shelley, the Kriyananda's guru, would say was the viewer. And the second H, or the second H, has to do with the viewed. So the Yodha Vadha is IHVH in Romanized spelling or letters. And the IH is the viewer, again, I think he would say. And then he would say the VH is the viewed. Now what this means is that as you meditate, I mentioned, we do the mantra, and then we close our eyes and we move into a meditation or a meditative state and get the feeling of the mantra, absorb the feeling of the mantra. And when you do it, although I said the mind, you want to remove all the mind of all the thoughts, which is what you want to do. But there's one awareness that comes in, and that is that you're focusing your attention, and I didn't mention this earlier, I should have, but your attention, focusing your attention at that point between the eyes at the root of the nose. And as you focus your attention there, what you come to realize is that you're looking there. Your eyes are closed, but even with the eyes closed, you're focusing and you're looking there. And the question is, well, what's happening during this process? And what's happening is you are the viewer. You're the viewer, and you're looking at the object of meditation, which is that point between the eyes at the root of the nose. There's a meditation that we have, which is called the object of beauty meditation. And in that meditation, you actually take an object, something that you consider to be very beautiful, and you visualize it there. But even if you don't do that, even if there's nothing there, you're looking at something internal to you. And as people meditate, different things happen, different things, people will see different things. But the idea or the concept is of this viewer and viewed is whatever it is you're viewing, you look at it and you focus on it and you meditate on it and you meditate on it and you get rid of all the other thoughts. And so you get to this point where you have, let's say, 10 ideas or thoughts that are going through your mind. And you're sitting there while you're in your meditative posture. You're thinking, oh, I'm here. I'm talking to you. You're there. I'm in the room. I have the room here. Outside the room, there's the neighborhood. And oh boy, I got lunch, and I got to start thinking about that. And I got all these thoughts going through my mind. And the idea in the meditation is to get rid of those thoughts. Eventually, you want to get rid of all the thoughts. And so maybe you have 20 different ideas, 20 different thoughts which are flowing through your mind. And as you do the meditation, you slowly get rid of all of these objects. And you, again, are the viewer looking at all these objects that are in your meditation and thinking about all these objects. And as you're doing that, you stop thinking about the neighbors. You stop thinking about stop thinking about who I'm talking to. I stop thinking about the building. I stop thinking about lunch. I stop thinking about all these thoughts, and slowly from 20, I get it down to 15, down to 10, down to 1, and you get it down to 2 thoughts. And you know what the 2 thoughts are? The 2 thoughts are I'm here as the viewed, and I'm meditating on one thought, the object of the meditation, the viewed. I'm the viewer, and I'm looking at the viewed, and I'm down to those 2 thoughts or those 2 ideas, those 2 things. And if you do the meditation, and as you practice the meditation, you do it longer and longer, and you get it down to this, you get to the point where you start to say, almost there's a merging that almost occurs between what you're meditating on and you, the meditator. And so you kind of merge with the object of meditation, and then the question becomes in your mind, well, wait a minute. Am I viewing the object, or is the object viewing me? Am I the viewer, or am I the viewed? And Shelley would take that as maybe and say, I think he says, am I the lover or am I the loved? Am I the lover or am I the beloved? And that's kind of what we're aiming for with this meditative technique of going into the meditation and becoming the viewer of the object of meditation, the viewed, and getting to the point where you start to become aware of this idea, well, wait a minute, am I the viewer or am I the viewed? If you really want to do an interesting experiment, along these lines, what you do is maybe later on this afternoon or tonight, you go into the bathroom and you have a bathroom mirror and look into the bathroom mirror. Now, if you're like me, you look in the mirror, normally you just look from a distance and it's just there. You know, is my hair combed? Is my face clean? Kind of how do I look? But the experiment is, and you've probably done this, but maybe you want to try it again, is you look into the eyes of the reflection in the mirror. And it produces a interesting reaction, which is related directly to this idea of the viewer and the viewed. You look into the eyes of the reflection in the mirror, and if you look through long enough, you you get a very interesting interaction which occurs, and you say, "Oh man, what's looking back at me? I'm looking at a reflection, but is that reflection just a reflection, or is it actually something that exists?" And you're looking at the viewed and the viewer, and like I said, it's an interesting experiment that you can perform on yourself, and see what happens. It produces some fascinating different types of feelings. So, as I was saying again when I began the meditation, happiness and love, or love and happiness, are your inherent right. They belong to you. That seems like a distant vision quite often, because in the world that we live in today, something I think Kriyananda has said, or something that Kriyananda has said frequently in the times that he was speaking, he said that we live in the age of Kali Yuga. The age of Kali Yuga is the age of ignorance. It's the age of darkness. There's 4 ages, and of the 4 ages, it's I guess you would say it's the lowest. If you were trying to look at it symbolically, it's at the bottom. And the amount of, or the length of Kali Yuga is up for debate. The number is 432,000, but then what is that 432,000 patterning? Because as I've studied different books, different places of information that I've gone to look for into the information about the Kali Yuga, you'll hear different things, you'll hear different ideas, when it began, when it's going to end, and the basic unit is 432, but what is that? Seconds? Is it days? Is it years? Thousands of years? Kriyananda says 432,000 years. That's one of the cycles, but then you have cycles within cycles, and I think there's other patterns that evolve out of that. But anyway, we're in Kali Yuga, which is the lowest state. It's the most difficult state. It's the state of ignorance, and it's the state of ignorance of man in general, but it's also the state of ignorance of myself. And it's the state of ignorance of you. We're kind of here all in this together. And we've lost, most of us, I suppose I can't speak for everybody, but I think for the biggest chunk of the world, we've lost the vision. We've lost that ability to look into ourselves and see the viewed, and see the viewer, and who's the viewer and who's the viewed. We've lost that ability to go inside and find that happiness that exists within us. It's a difficult period right now for Capricorns because Saturn has moved into their sun sign. And so it's difficult for them to love. It's difficult for them to feel happiness for a period of time. course, later in the year, it moves out, and then it moves into Aquarius. And then at that point, it becomes more difficult for the Aquarians to be able to find that happiness within them, that happiness that exists within them. It's there. It's always there. It's never not there. It is actually who we are. It is what we are. It is the spirit. And maybe I could even take it a step further, because happiness isn't the best word to use when you're describing the state of the spirit, the natural state of the spirit. The real word, again, Kriyananda and Shelley would say, is bliss. It's a feeling of bliss that exists, that is the natural state of the spirit. And it is the natural state of the spirit that you are. And so if you're not in a state of bliss, if you don't feel that bliss, it's not because it's not there, it's because you're doing something wrong. If I don't feel it, it's because I'm doing something wrong. And usually it's a psychological thing. In other words, I'm saying to myself, I have a strong Capricorn segment in my chart. And so at this time, it is difficult for me to say, oh, wow, I'm feeling really happy today. Events happen in our life. Someone dies. Someone is sick. Someone has an accident. There's events that occur in life. And so it becomes difficult to be happy at those moments. And I know Kriyananda has says, well, it's okay to be unhappy at those moments. And then he would say, but it's only okay to be unhappy for a moment. You can be 3 seconds of unhappiness. Well, yeah, that's understandable. But then you got to move on. And the truth is that you do. You have to move on. And continuously through life, find that happiness that exists within your spirit, that happiness that is a part of you, that is a part of your spirit, and a part of who and what you are. And allow it to move from inside of you. You don't want to just find it, go inside and find it. You want to take it and bring it into the world and get it to manifest into the world. And you do it, again, it's another way of looking at this viewer and the viewed. As you're walking through the world, what you can do is you imagine the spirit, the consciousness that you are, and you move it up 18 inches above your head, and you move it 6 inches back. So you have you outside of your physical body, your awareness, if you want to say your imagination, and I don't know if that's the best way to say it, but who and what you are, the spirit that you are, and move it out of the physical body. You visualize yourself watching the physical body, and then visualize yourself looking at the mind. Visualize yourself listening to the words. And what are you doing as you walk through the world, as you walk out into the world? What are you saying as you move out into the world? What are you thinking as you move out into the world? And look at yourself from a distance, from the back, looking down upon yourself, upon the physical body. And you as the viewer, watch what the viewed is doing, saying, and thinking. And then at night, each night, you do what we call tarka. And tarka means reflection. And you just think about the day and what has happened and what has transpired during the day. And again, if you're a Capricorn, It's easy to say, well, what's transpired is I had this problem and problem 2 and 10 and problem 30. I deserve to be unhappy. And you take that thought, you as the viewer take that thought of yourself, the viewed, and say, well, wait a minute. What's the point? You know, you can say, oh, I'm unhappy, I deserve to be unhappy, and maybe you do. I would say you don't, but you know, maybe you think you do, and maybe you can convince yourself, but then what's the point? It just feeds itself and you become unhappy, even if there's no reason to be unhappy. And you get that, it's a psychological game a lot of people play, and we all play it. And it's a good psychological game to get out of. It's a good psychological game to end, and to end as soon as possible. And instead of saying, here's all the reasons that I have to be unhappy, say, well, what could I have done to make things better? What can I do tomorrow to make things better? If I had a problem with the spouse today, how do I solve that problem with the spouse? Hopefully the problem's already solved, but if not, how do I solve the problem? What do I do to solve the problem? And then what do I do to make sure the problem doesn't reappear? That's probably the most important of all. You know, to have the problem is not bad, but to have it occur over and over again, that's not good. Something needs to be done by you, for you, by me, for me, to take the problems that we have, reflect on them, understand them, solve them, and not let them reoccur again. Or if they reoccur, to make sure that the intensity of the reoccurrence is lower than it was before. So you get that intensity to diminish, get the duration of that event to become less and less. You decrease the intensity, decrease the duration, and over time, eventually, the problem, you get yourself to a point where whenever a problem even, you see it start to creep up into your life, whatever the problem might be, and you already know how to start working on the problem to stop it before it becomes a major problem. And to learn to be happy. And to learn to love. To learn to love everybody that's in your immediate vicinity, and then to take that love and expand it out beyond your immediate vicinity, between where you're at now, and allow that love to expand out into the universe. And if you do that, I like to say you automatically make the world, make the universe a better place to live in. It's one of those things I used to say. It's a thought that just came in. I haven't had this thought for a long time, but if you take your state, whatever the state might be at this point, and you say to yourself, I need to pat myself on the back because today I did something really nice. I helped someone, I said a nice word, a kind word, whatever it might be. And in doing that, I made this world a better place. And somebody says, well, how can you be so egotistical that you can think that you can make the world a better place? Well, you have, because you're in the world, and if you make yourself happy, if you make those around you happy, you make the world happier. It's a constant, I wanted to say path, a walk along a path to constantly get your mind to look and say you deserve to be happy. It may sound silly, but there's a lot of people that don't think they deserve to be. The guilt complex. A lot of people walking around with the guilt complex, and it's not obvious. You don't see it in their eyes and the way they act, but it's there within them. And they're saying to themselves, I don't really deserve to be happy. But again, the truth is, love is your inherent right. Happiness is your inherent right. It is the fundamental nature of your spirit. And it, excuse me. And as I was saying, we're in the Kali Yuga, and the Kali Yuga is at the bottom. It's the bottom of the cycle, and from the Kali Yuga, we start to move into the higher ages. And so there's some good news, I suppose, in there, and that if we're at the bottom, no matter which way we turn it, the way is up. And I say it jokingly, but the fact is that it's true. A lot of people are having a lot of trouble. I assume that in saying that, it's not a surprise, and I don't think anybody's going to disagree with me or argue with me on that point. But because the world is in such a difficult condition, things are so difficult with the world today, what it really means is you have unlimited opportunities to improve the world. As I said just a few moments ago, you take each of those opportunities, as small as they are, you go out into the world, you live your life, you improve your life, you improve the world around you, and with each of those little improvements in your life, and helping to improve those conditions of the people around you that you interact with, you are making the world a better place to be. And in Kali Yuga, you have opportunities, abundant opportunities to do that and to accomplish that. And with those thoughts, I'd like to stop again and chant the mantra. Again, the mantra is a 12-letter mantra. It has 12 sounds in it. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya is the mantra. And that particular mantra helps to activate the heart chakra. And when I say activate the heart chakra, it activates the heart chakra in producing a divine love, a feeling of divine love within you, starting with the heart center. So with that, I would ask again if you could come to a comfortable seated position, and again, please feel free, if you're at home by yourself, chant aloud. It's easier than if you're in a group. I know sometimes when we have the meditations at the temple building, people are a little afraid to chant aloud because somebody's listening, and I don't have a very good voice. I don't have a very good voice either, but regardless of that, when I do the chanting, it produces a very nice feeling. So if you're at home alone, it's a little bit easier to chant the mantra along with the music, and produce that feeling of peace and serenity within you. Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo 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 Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Shanti. I'd like to thank you for joining me in the meditation this afternoon, and I wished that you may have a very happy and pleasant week, happy and pleasant month, happy and pleasant year, happy and pleasant lifetime, and very happy and pleasant lifetimes to come, filled with love, filled with greater love, filled with greater and greater and more love each day that passes by.